The year is 1340, and before the sun has fully climbed above the eastern Aegean, you are already standing on the stone docks of Chios, with your future balanced on a page that has not yet been written. The harbor smells of salt, tar, wet rope, and crushed pine resin. Fishing boats rock gently in the dim water. Whitewashed houses cling to the hills behind the port. Small domes and bell towers rise in the half-light. To a stranger, the island might look peaceful, even sleepy. To you, it feels like the center of the world. You are not a knight, and you are not a lord. You are something more dangerous here. You are a Genoese patrono, a merchant, ship owner, and master of floating risk. Your weapon is not a sword, but a ledger, bound in leather. Its pages waiting to record profit, debt, favors, taxes, and the cost of every mistake. On land, men like to imagine that power belongs to kings, generals, and bishops. Out here, power belongs to the men who can move cargo, extend credit, and arrive before their rivals. And rivals are already on your mind. Before dawn, one of the harbor boys brought a rumor down the quay. A Venetian galley was seen farther south, cutting across the water under hard oar. Maybe the report is wrong. Maybe the ship will pass by. Or maybe Venice is coming for the same resin, the same silk, the same advantage you crossed half the sea to claim. If that happens, every smile in this harbor will hide a calculation. One bad agreement could strip the profit from your voyage. One damaged cargo hatch could turn silver into rot. One sudden tax, one dishonest broker, one storm in the wrong channel, and the fortune you promised your family in Genoa could disappear between sunrise and nightfall. On Chios, men are not ruined slowly. They are ruined in a single day of bad judgment. The sky brightens, the port begins to wake, and before you can face Venice, you must first convince Chios that you are a man worth trusting with silver. When you return to your cabin, the space feels smaller than it did in the dark. Dawn has exposed every stain in the timber, every iron nailhead, every patch of damp that creeps up from the hull. This is not the chamber of a prince. It is a narrow wooden box built for sleep, storage, and survival. A sea chest sits at the foot of your bed. Above it hangs a lantern, still cold. Your cloak smells faintly of salt and smoke. You wash your face with a careful splash from a sealed freshwater jar. Even this small ritual carries a cost. Fresh water is weight, space, and money. You dry your hands, open your chest, and dress with deliberate restraint. First, the linen shirt, clean and light against the skin. Then the fitted wool doublet, dark enough to hide dust, fine enough to signal credit. A leather belt, soft boots, your purse, your knife. Last of all, your signet ring, heavy on your finger, ready to seal promises that may be worth more than coin. In Genoa, everyone understands this performance. Here on Chios, it matters even more. A merchant who looks careless will be treated as careless. A merchant who looks poor will be offered the worst terms first. Wealth in your world is not merely possessed. It is displayed with discipline. You do not dress to impress the crowd. You dress so brokers, notaries, sailors, and landowners can read the message at a glance. This man pays, this man returns, this man can be trusted with a cargo that cannot fail. When you step back onto the deck, the harbor has fully awakened. Greek boatmen shout across the water. Porters bend under sacks of grain. Bells ring somewhere uphill from an Orthodox church hidden among the white houses. Above them all, the square Genoese towers watch the harbor like stone signatures stamped onto Byzantine soil. Chios may belong to an emperor on parchment, but in the morning light, money seems to rule more clearly than law. And with every step toward shore, one thought sharpens in your mind. The island's greatest treasure will not wait for hesitation. On Chios, the most valuable thing in the harbor is not silk, not wine, not even the ships themselves. It is mastic, the pale resin that bleeds from the island's trees in the south and hardens into translucent tears worth their weight in opportunity. In the markets of the Mediterranean and beyond, men chew it to sweeten the breath. Physicians prescribe it for the stomach. Artisans mix it into fine varnishes. And the wealthy prize it because it comes from one place and one place only. Chios is not merely fortunate, it is singular. That is why you move quickly through the market streets, past baskets of figs, coils of rope, amphorae of oil, and fishermen repairing their nets in the morning sun. Every sound around you carries a price. Every face in the crowd belongs to someone tied to a shipment, a village, a tax, or a favor. The island looks Greek, speaks Greek, prays Greek, but trade has taught everyone here to listen for the language beneath language, profit. At a shaded table near the edge of the market, you meet the men who stand between you and the next harvest. The local archons carry themselves with the calm pride of landholders who know they possess something the wider world cannot replace. Their robes are simple but well made. Their eyes are careful. They do not bow to you, and you do not expect them to. They know Genoese ships bring silver, protection, and access to distant ports. You know their villages control the resin that makes this island matter. The divide between you is obvious. You are a Latin Catholic from Genoa. They are Greek Orthodox landowners with roots deeper in this soil than your republic could ever claim. Yet, neither faith nor language can erase necessity. Across the table, terms matter more than sentiment, timing more than ceremony. On Chios, nothing truly valuable is bought with coin alone. It is bought with leverage, patience, and trust, written down before the first barrel ever leaves the shore. Now, the real work begins. A servant brings watered wine. Another unrolls fresh parchment across the table. The notary sits with his reed pen ready, his face empty of all emotion, because men like him are paid to remember what others will later try to deny. No one here speaks as if this were a simple purchase. It is not. You are not merely buying what has already been harvested. You are reaching forward into the season ahead, trying to fasten your hand around a profit that does not yet exist. You begin with terms, not money. You will advance capital before the next harvest is fully gathered. The villages will guarantee first access to a fixed portion of the resin. If transport is delayed, responsibility will be shared according to distance, weather, and the condition of the roads. If spoilage occurs before loading, the loss falls one way. If it happens at sea, it falls another. Every clause is a wall built against ruin. Every sentence is a rope tied around uncertainty. The archons answer carefully. They know the worth of their trees. They know Genoese merchants are generous only when generosity serves calculation. They press for stronger guarantees, better percentages, more favorable language in the event of theft or delay. You push back without raising your voice. A bad merchant argues with anger. A good one narrows the field until the only acceptable future is the one he arrived to secure. The notary writes in deliberate Latin, line after line, while flies drift in the warming air and the market noise swells beyond the shade At last, the final terms settle into place. Wax is heated. The parchment is turned. You slide your ring from your finger for a moment, then press its carved face into the soft red seal. For one brief breath, it feels like victory. Then a horn sounds from the harbor, not the lazy call of a fishing boat, not the cry of a ferryman. This is deeper, sharper, the kind of sound that changes the posture of every man within earshot. Heads turn toward the sea, voices fall. Somewhere beyond the market roofs, oars are beating the water in disciplined rhythm. Venice has arrived. By the time you reach the harbor, the Venetian galley is already gliding into position with the smooth confidence of a ship that expects to be obeyed. Its long, dark hull cuts through the blue water like a blade. The oars rise and fall together with unnerving precision. Above them, the banner of St. Mark snaps in the wind, red against the bright morning sky. Even before the anchor drops, everyone on the quay understands what this means. Venice has not come here to admire the island. Men pause in their work to watch. Porters straighten their backs. Brokers recalculate the day in silence. Sailors on neighboring vessels pretend not to stare, though every eye follows the Venetian captain as he steps ashore in fine cloth, polished boots, and the practiced stillness of a man trained never to reveal whether he is pleased or threatened. You know his type well. He knows yours just as well. When your eyes meet, neither of you smiles. Still, both of you observe the necessary forms. A curt nod, a measured greeting, no insult, no open hostility. Chios is too valuable, and the harbor too crowded with witnesses for childish displays. Open violence would disrupt trade, and disrupted trade punishes everyone. That is the first law of ports like this one. So the war between Genoa and Venice is fought differently here. Not with steel, with access, with timing, with influence, with the price a broker whispers to one man and withholds from another. You already know why the Venetian ship has come. They have heard the same rumors, chased the same profit, traced the same opportunities along the sea lanes. Silk, resin, favor, priority in the customs house. If they cannot take the best cargo, they can still force you to pay more for it. If they cannot win cleanly, they can narrow your margin until victory tastes like loss. The galley settles against the quay. Ropes are thrown, orders ring out, and as the Venetian crew begins to unload their first crates, you realize the next battle will not happen on the open water. It will happen in the customs house, where numbers can wound more deeply than swords. Inside the customs house, the air is cooler, but no less tense. Stone walls hold the morning shade, and long tables are crowded with scribes, brokers, scales, seals, and impatient men pretending they are not desperate. Byzantine officials sit behind the apparatus of law, weighing goods, assessing duties, recording names, and ensuring that every crate and bale passing through the harbor is transformed into revenue for someone. Here, no one raises a blade. They raise eyebrows, objections, and prices. The Venetians move first. Their men pry open crates of fine glass, translucent and delicate, catching the light like trapped water. Bolts of wool cloth follow, dense and expensive, the sort of goods that announce prestige before a single word is spoken. It is an impressive display designed to persuade the brokers that Venice has come prepared to trade seriously and pay well. But spectacle is not leverage, and you did not cross the Aegean relying on appearances alone. Your advantage lies in alum, The dull, heavy minerals stacked in your cargo is not beautiful, but beauty is irrelevant in the textile economy of Europe. Without alum, dyes do not hold, reds fade, blues wash out. Fine cloth loses the brilliance that makes nobles, merchants, and bishops willing to pay for it. That means every broker in this room understands the truth, even if no one says it aloud. Your cargo does not merely add value to trade. It helps make trade possible. So you begin to press. You offer a slightly better exchange rate. You promise faster settlement. You hint that future access to alum will favor those who favor you today. Nothing is stated crudely. Everything is suggested with the smoothness of habit. A broker leans toward you. Another hesitates before answering the Venetian captain. You see the change first in their eyes, then in the tightening of his jaw. He has not been insulted. He has been outmaneuvered. By the time the scales stop moving and the scribes finish their columns, the terms have tilted your way. Not enough to provoke open protest, more than enough to be felt. Venice still buys. Venice still smiles. But you leave the customs house knowing that on paper at least, the morning belongs to Genoa. And yet paper can promise profit only so long as the sea agrees to deliver it. By midday, the harbor slows beneath the weight of the sun. Heat settles over the white stone like a physical burden, pressing the noise flat, driving men into patches of shade, making even urgent business feel briefly distant. You retreat from the quay to a Greek tavern set back from the water beneath an old grape trellis, where the air is cooler and the smell of charcoal drifts out into the lane. The meal is simple, but nothing about it feels poor. A bowl of grilled octopus arrives, still glistening with olive oil. Beside it sits coarse barley bread, a wedge of sharp sheep's cheese, and a cup of local wine the color of amber in the light. You eat with your sailing master on one side and a local navigator on the other, a man whose face has been carved by wind and salt into something almost as weathered as the coast itself. No one speaks of kings, no one speaks of Venice. At this table, the true subject is the sea. The navigator tells you what the charts cannot. He speaks of the summer winds that come down hard from the north, of currents that look harmless at noon and turn treacherous by dusk, of limestone shoals that wait just below the surface, where an outsider might see only calm blue water. He names coves where a galley can shelter, channels where it must never linger, and stretches of coast where a captain who trusts the wrong breeze can lose both time and cargo before he realizes his mistake. You listen more carefully now than you did in the customs house, because this knowledge cannot be taxed, copied, or stored in a warehouse. It lives in memory, in scars, in voices lowered over bread and oil. A bad bargain may reduce your profit. A bad reading of the sea may erase it entirely. By the time the meal ends, the sun has begun to loosen its grip on the port. Men are returning to work. Crates are moving again. Ropes are tightening. And every good decision you have made so far is about to depend on one thing: whether your cargo is loaded well enough to survive the water. Back at the galley, the afternoon has turned practical again. Whatever was won in the market and the customs house must now be protected by labor, order, and precision. Porters move up the gangplank under shouted instructions, carrying silk bales, barrels of mastic, coils of spare rope, sacks of provisions, and small locked chests containing papers more valuable than some men's lives. Nothing goes aboard carelessly. On a merchant vessel, profit has weight, and weight must be disciplined. You watch from the deck as each load is placed with purpose. Heavy goods must sit low and steady. Fragile cargo must be cushioned against impact. Space must be left for movement, for tools, for men who may need to reach the hold quickly in bad weather. The sailors know the rhythm of it, hauling, bracing, tying, checking, then checking again. Their hands are blackened by tar and rope burn. Their backs shine with sweat. A single mistake here can survive unnoticed until the first hard turn at sea. That is the danger outsiders never see. Cargo is not merely stored, it behaves. It shifts, settles, strains, leaks. A barrel set badly can crack. A bale stacked high can topple. Too much weight to one side can make a galley sluggish in calm water and dangerous in rough water. Salt does not need a storm to destroy value. A little seepage, a little carelessness, and an expensive voyage begins to rot from below deck. So you inspect the lashings, the hatch covers, the canvas, the order of the load. In this world, trade is not just buying and selling. It is physics, discipline, and foresight. By the time the final cargo is sealed beneath the planks, the day's business has become something colder than bargaining. Now the noise of labor fades and the quieter work begins. You step into the small navigational space near the stern, where the air smells of wax, ink, and dry wood instead of salt and sweat. Here, far from the shouting of dock workers and the posturing of rival merchants, the voyage is reduced to lines, distances, and the cold discipline of numbers. You unroll your Portland chart across a narrow table and smooth its edges with both hands. The parchment is worn but precious, crossed with rum lines that tie the known sea together in a web of direction and memory. Beside it rests your compass, one of the finest tools a man in your profession can own. The needle quivers, then steadies. You take up your brass dividers and begin to measure the route to your next destination, the Genoese world near Constantinople, where profit may either multiply or vanish, depending on how well you leave Chios behind. Distance is only the beginning. You calculate how much fresh water remains in the barrels and how long it must last. You think through the daily wages owed to every sailor and oarsman on board. You estimate how the wind might favor you, where delays may cost you, and what taxes may wait in the next harbor. You consider the value of moving quickly against the danger of pushing too hard through uncertain waters. Every answer creates another question. Every gain has a hidden expense attached to it. This is what men on land rarely understand. They imagine merchants as traders of objects, buyers of silk, spice, resin, and cloth. But out here, you trade in uncertainty itself. You price risk, you convert weather into cost, distance into wages, timing into advantage. A sailor must know the sea. An accountant must know the numbers. You must know both, because one without the other is merely a faster way to fail. Outside, the light has begun to soften. The harbor that screamed with commerce a few hours ago is settling into something gentler. For a brief time, before darkness and before the ledger opens for the night, the world beneath the rivalry shows itself again. Evening settles over Chios in layers of gold, red, and fading blue. On the waterfront, the day's hard edges soften. Sailors trade figs, wine, dice, and songs beneath the masts. Even the Venetians, for a little while, look less like enemies than men sentenced to the same sea. The harbor breathes more slowly now, as if commerce itself has finally loosened its grip. You return to your cabin by candlelight and open the ledger. This is the final labor of the day and the most unforgiving. You record the weight of the mastic, the value of the silk, the port taxes, the payments due, the rates agreed, the risks still hanging over the voyage. Every number must answer another number. Every promise must be pinned to ink before memory can distort it. Somewhere in Genoa, your family's future depends on the steadiness of your hand tonight. When the last line is finished, you close the book and step back onto the deck. Above you, the night sky stretches from the dark Aegean to the invisible coast of Asia Minor. Beyond the horizon lie silk roads, spice routes, imperial courts, and markets waiting to receive what your ship can carry. Kings will claim that armies rule the world. Standing here, with salt in the air and accounts drying in the cabin behind you, you know better. The world holds together because merchants measure, bargain, record, and risk everything between one shore and the next. Tomorrow, the wind may turn, Venice may recover, and fortune may change its face again. But tonight, one truth feels certain. Empires boast in stone, while trade survives in wood, wax, sailcloth, and the courage to keep moving.